Good evening, everyone. Okay, so I need some reverts to the greetings so that I could know that you all are here and we should start. Chapter 6, Audit in an Automated Environment. You have been through the 5 stations of your journey, the basics of audit documentation, audit evidence, audit program, risk assessment, internal control, the chapter of fraud, and now you have reached the 6th station of your audit journey. Oh wow, good. Nice. I hope so. You will be interacting like this throughout the session. I wish. Very good. So many greetings. I should tell you that this is really nice. So how far has the journey been? Well, let us take 5 minutes before we start this chapter. So how far this journey has been, these 5 chapters, how are you finding audit? The students who have joined us through the foundation route, this is a new subject for them, but those who are through the direct entry route, they might have studied the subject of auditing in their graduation classes. So I'm curious to know, how has the journey been till now? See, you have to keep on interacting with me, right? If I get bored, the effect will be on you. Okay? So we have to make this topic interesting, because when it comes to computers for the commerce students, they find it really hard. And when it is a combination of audit and computers, it's like a nightmare for some of them. So we don't have to turn this topic into a nightmare. And we have to study really well, understand the topics as per our examination orient style. Okay, someone saying it is fine. It's fine. Yeah, it is fine. Very practical subject. Yeah, it is. Actually, students usually term it as a theory subject. But I would say it is an applied theory. You study theory and you apply it in your practical situations. Those of you who have started their articleship training, you might be able to understand some concepts really well. And those of you who are yet to start, when they start their training, they'll come to know about the importance of this subject. After all, we are the auditors, right? We have huge responsibility on our shoulders. So this subject is like the Ramban for us. This is the most important subject. Dual experience, enjoying, understanding, but याद रखने में जूझ रहे हैं. No issues, we'll take care of that as well. आपको जूझने नहीं देंगे. Okay, nice. Okay, Karthik, we'll make sure that you keep on getting this spelling. Yes, Harsh. Yes. Difficult to remember concepts. Yeah, see, this subject is something new for you and it is a very important subject. So basically, I should tell you this beforehand, that first you need to read, understand the concepts really well. You should not jump upon the fact of just cramming or remembering what you have read, learned, or listened over here, right? These things take time. Understanding a particular topic and then just remembering it or cramming it, these things take time. Don't cram it as it is. You actually need to understand the scenario, the questions, the topics, only then you'll be able to remember it as per your examination style. Okay, John is okay. Need to be focused that it is a theory subject. It is easy to get distracted in class. You have to take care of that. Don't get distracted in class. Chali, let's move further. So, audit in an automated environment. There were days when we used as a chartered accountant, the fraternity, the auditors, they would use like this pen. The pen would have been here. You might have understand, you might have watched in your movies, Munim, right? So they were initially on those days, pre-independence, post-independence eras, before the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India was established, right? So you could see in movies as well, right? They would use this pen and keep on checking the books, the ledgers, and everything was on paper. But with the advent of computers in the 20th century, and today we are living in the world of robotics, artificial intelligence. We have come as a human would say the race. We have dwelled really well. We have developed really well. So the difference is huge. This topic might not have been there before the advent of the computers, but it is here. And believe me, the auditors, the commerce students, the chartered accountants, they need to be well versed with the changing technology. They need to be well versed with the changing science related to their field. We have come across the topics of forensics and whatnot in our profession. So this is just the starting step you are going to take today. The automated environment and how we have to audit in an automated environment, a business, the client, which is who is using a lot of computers, lot of technology. So as an auditor, what do we need to keep in mind? What would be our considerations when we audit their financial statements, their internal checks, their internal controls? And simultaneously, how is technology going to help us as an auditors? How can we derive that benefit from technology as our audit tools? So quite interesting when you go ahead into the depth of this chapter in your CA final after you become a chartered accountant. There are lots of softwares to play with, lots of technology to play with. Unless and until our basics are clear, we will not be able to play with those softwares. Okay. So, okay. Yes. Rajiv sir will be coming today as well. And you can ask your queries to him. BOS definitely conducts session on exam techniques. They do. And you will get notified about it. Okay, Charlie. So let's move ahead. Audit in an automated environment. So what would be our study sequence? So this is your first session with me in this batch. Let us understand how are we going to study any chapter. The first thing we'll understand the topic. What we are going to study in a chapter. It is always feasible. It is always suggested. Whatever chapter you are going to read, always bifurcate it into parts. 3 parts, 4 parts, sub parts. If you have a bird's eye view in your memory, right, you can always locate the answers to the questions in your exam Otherwise, you'll be scrolling through the different pages of your books, presentations in your brain while answering a question, sitting in the exam under that anxiety and exam pressure. So there should always be a closed box. Yes, this is the chapter. In this chapter, we have to do this. Then start unboxing it. Start unboxing the topics, subtopics, and all that stuff. And after you are done, pack it again, so that it is not scattered anywhere in your brain. Bikhra hua nahi hai. Okay, it is always better. It is always, convenient to get something out of a properly packed box rather than finding it out of some scattered things. So you should understand that what are the topics in a particular chapter. Then with the help of study material and the presentation itself. So I'll not be using the physical board. I'll be using either the whiteboard or on the presentation itself. We'll be just getting through the concepts of this chapter. So our resources would be the study material and the presentation. I'll be sharing the presentation after the class. Okay, then we'll have practice questions, multiple choice questions, correct, incorrect, case studies, and descriptive questions. You find it in your exam, these 4 types of questions. So we'll be playing with the MCQs and a case study. A case study including this chapter. We'll be practicing it at the end of the session, next session. 2 sessions for this chapter will be, after we complete the chapter, we'll be practicing some MCQs and case study. And some correct, incorrect, and descriptive questions, we'll be doing it simultaneously as soon as the session ends. Then at the end, summary of the chapter. And finally, we would discuss how to write the answers in the exam, answers to the audit questions. What is the professional method? How do you need to use the technical jargons, technical terms, words? What is their importance in the exam of audit? If you go through the marks secured by the toppers or the people who have cleared the exam, you'll see they actually struggle to get good marks in audit. Actually. And people who score good marks in audit, they know the technique, how to write the answers professionally. You are a chartered accountant student. The examiner expects professional answers from you, not the naive answers or example answers you would give to your business exams during your commerce days, graduation days. Some proper professional answers with evidences and facts. So apart from reading about audit and the chapter, you also need to practice how to write professional answers in your examinations. And we'll take care of that as well through all the chapters which I'll be taking up with you. Okay, audit in an automated environment. The weightage is 15 to 20% in your exam, along with chapter 4, risk assessment, internal control. So as I told you, as I asked you, I have put this chapter in a box. I'm unfolding that box. So the first, while unboxing, I got the first part as general. Some general information on the chapter. What is automated environment? What are the key features of automated environment? Then what is the relevance of IT in audit? Relevance of information technology in audit. We are done with part 1. Then the next box, part 2, risks, controls, and testing. So please, you have understood about the risks, about the controls, and the testing in the risk assessment and internal control chapter. In this topic, in this chapter, you are going to apply the knowledge gained in chapter 4 in an automated environment. What are the risks specific to an automated environment? What are the controls specific to an automated environment? And how do you test those controls? Okay, please tell me, is the screen visible to everyone? Someone? I hope the presentation is visible. Please do leave a message or a query over there. Then Under this part 2, we'll be discussing what are the risks and controls in an automated environment. In this part, we'll see, you understand the risks and document them. What is their impact on the organization if the risks materialize, and types of controls in an automated environment. What controls an organization can put in place. What controls an organization can put in place if they want to minimize this risk. And then what would be the testing method? So see, 3 parts, right? Just a second. Okay, 3 parts: risks, controls, and testing. So we'll understand the risks and controls. First we need to understand what are the risks. Then we need to understand what are the controls put into place by the organization, and then we'll test those controls as an auditor, whether the controls are effective enough to minimize the risk or not. Then the last part of the chapter, some miscellaneous important topics. What are they? The internal financial controls, IFC, very, very important. A standalone kind of topic. Data analytics, the future. Data analytics, the future. And what are the findings of the auditor? How does he present his report? And how does he report his findings? Everything. Okay, please bear with me on the transition sounds. I think I forgot to turn off the sound sharing option. So please bear with me on that. I'll do that in the break. Okay, fine. Here it is already there in your study mat. In your module, which you have got from the institute, it is already there. I've taken it from there only. So when you unfold the index pages, you'll get to know what is the weightage of each and every chapter. Okay, so here we start. Automated environment and its features. Anyone, I can understand that the whole lectures have to be in the English, right? If somebody doesn't understand anything or any word, please ask me, okay? I'll give it to you its simple meaning or in a simpler language, okay? Fine. The meaning of automated environment. So we have divided the meaning into 3 parts. We have divided the meaning into 3 parts. So when you read, please be with me. How do you have to read your chapters? How do you have to learn it? So when you open your chapter and see what is automated environment or any definition, no? An automated environment refers to a business environment where the process is and done in 2 lines. And you see, itni badi line hai, 3 big lines. How will we be able to remember it? So it's always suggested to remember in steps, right? Steps, taking baby steps. So I have divided the definition into 3 steps. So we have to learn it by the rule of 3. What is an automated environment? It is a business environment. So basically, automated environment is a business environment where what happens in this business environment? The processes is the work, whatever work you are doing in that environment, in that office, operations, mode of doing work. So processes, operations, accounting of that work process, and even decisions. So four subtopics we have taken care of, 4 works we have taken care of here. A business environment where the processes, the operations, the accounting, and even the decisions are carried out by using computer systems. Those computer systems are known as information systems or information technology systems. Really simple. I broke the definition into steps and I learned it right away. An automated environment is a business environment where the processes, the operations, the accounting, and even the decisions are carried out using computer system. Simple. This is automated environment. The information systems, or they are also known as IT systems. So what are the key features of an automated environment? So how is an automated environment different from a normal business environment? A normal business environment could be where there is no use of computers, where there is less use of computers compared to this environment. So how are its features different from that particular environment? So here we come, its features. What are the features? Let us see. Okay. Enables faster business operations. But obvious, if a human is just working on the machine to get results from it, the business operations would get faster, right? So how many of you have either seen a kanda or that weighing machine where the jute bags, right? Jute bags are weighed in the market. Or you could have gone to a local vendor and you could have purchased curd or some pulses and all. And I would say, let me wait. So he'll get that blocks of weight. He'll put it over there and he'll check how much is the weight. 1 kg, 2 kg. Okay, fine. You got 2 kg. And when it is a digital weighing machine, he just puts the commodity and the weight flashes in front of him. Isn't it faster? Isn't it faster? I'll come to that, Dhanlakshmi. I'll come to that. So enables faster business operations. Accuracy in data processing and computation. But obviously, have you seen in those movies where what would the vendor do in that particular utensil where he'll put in the material to be weighed, and he would use a magnet beneath that utensil, so that if I have purchased 1 kg pulses, there would be only 800 gram, 900 gram, and that 100 gram weight would be of that magnet that has been stuck to that particular utensil. The ways of black marketing and hoarding. So with the way of using digital machines, that is gone. Digital machines give you accurate up to the 2 or 3, 4 decimals, whatever they have been customized, configured according to. So there is accuracy in data processing and computation because there is no human intervention. Ability to process large volume of transactions. Sit on Excel someday and try to forming a table or something. Try using Excel and you'll get to know how technology helps us. You know, ability to process large volumes of transactions in blocks. Integration between business operations. So what would I do? Suppose there is an organization, right? And there is purchase department, there is sales department, there is marketing department. So there is this person A says, my purchase department requires this much of more raw material. Okay, secretary, go to the right order department which places orders, requisite department, purchase requisition department, right? And get this order made or get this order placed, or go to the godown and get this particular raw material over here in the factory. There was a team, there were different persons within the organization who would move to and fro, and they would bring the materials, they would place orders, and it was a tedious task, time-consuming task. Now I have computer system, for example, SAP, ERP system. I would punch in over there my request. This much is required. This is the balance left with us. So as soon as the person in another department checks the balance, okay, it has fallen below the reorder limit. Have you read about reordering level in your costing? So this is a level it has reached in the godown or the warehouse. We have to order it again, replenish it. without even interacting with each other, just looking at the facts and figures in the system, which is integrated between various departments, they'll be able to perform better and faster work. So integration between different business operations, better security and controls. Obviously, there is a CCTV camera. Whosoever is entering, whosoever is exiting, it will record everything, unless and until it is tampered with, right? But if you have a security guard sitting on the gate and he gets asleep, whoso is entering, who is exiting, he might not know it. So obviously, better security and controls, less prone to human errors because it is prone to technical errors, technological errors that are unavoidable. That can only be fixed, that are unavoidable. But not those kind of human errors where different human makes different errors. Machine works the same way. So less prone to human errors, provides latest information, but obvious, the internet, the Google, connectivity and networking capability, but obvious, we have, the world has become a global village. During the time of COVID, we got to know virtual interviews, virtual jobs, work from home. So connectivity and networking capability, that was possible only because of the technology. So these are the features of automated environment. Okay, fine. Let's move ahead. So what is the relevance of IT in audit? Quite a theoretical question. So what is the relevance? Okay, just a second. With the increasing adoption of information technology, businesses today rely on software systems and applications more than ever. Applications mean software systems, which you have softwares in your computers and mobiles, and applications you all know. You have different apps in your mobile phones systems. Many of these systems generate and process. First of all, data is generated. Then they work upon that data. So that is known as processing the data. That is used in the preparation of financial statements of a company. The auditors also often rely on data and reports that are generated from the systems, from the accounting systems. Whatever systems being used in the organization's accounting systems, the auditors, when they audit the financial statements, they extract reports and data from that system. In this context, it is critical. Critical means it is highly important to understand the IT specific risks that have come into place just because of using information technology. So IT specific risks that could potentially means they might not have, but they can impact the integrity and reliability of financial transactions and data flowing through a company's systems. Like the blood flows through human body, the veins, similarly data flows through various computer systems in the organization. Any place that data gets tampered with, it might affect the results within various departments of the organization. So, have you read about what is integrity and what is reliability? Ayush, off-the-shelf accounting software and on-the-shelf accounting software is tailor-made, right? This is the difference between tailor-made and customized. So, whatever is available for everyone, you go over there and you in a showroom and you purchase pants or you purchase pants for you or you purchase garments for you. So they are available in different sizes, right? As per the requirements of various categories of persons. So that is something which is standardized. That is called on the shelf, available. You enter a market and you see on the shelf, yes, I want that particular container. I want that particular software. Available on display, available for anyone, whosoever can purchase it. That is called on the shelf. Off the shelf is when you get it customized. You go to a bakery shop, you see so many cakes on display. You purchase one. That is a standard product you have purchased. But if you want a customized cake, I've become a chartered accountant. I want to see CA written on the cake. You get it customized. That is something off the shelf, which is not available on the shelf, but we have got it fabricated as per our requirements. Yes, Akashil, really good. Integrity of data means what was the data? It has been the same. The data has not been tampered with, right? It retains its original form. It is not altered or changed without proper authorization. That is integrity. And reliability is you can place your trust on those facts and figures, on that particular data and information. So that is integrity and reliability. Okay, Dhanlakshmi, different business processes and operations. Process is something which is like how is tea made? There is a process. You use water, you use milk, you use sugar, you use tea leaves. That is a process. What are the operations involved in making tea? You take water, different operations involved in making tea. So operations is a subset of process. I hope that is clear, Dhanlakshmi. Yes. Okay. Great. Okay. Second relevance. The complexity of a business environment depends upon the level of automation. The level, how highly automated is the business environment. Someone asked me in the beginning of the session, how is an automated environment more complex than the normal environment? Because in the normal environment, you can ask people, what was your duty? What mistakes you have done? But in a complex environment, you cannot question or ask the machine. It has been programmed accordingly. And as a person, we have to make use of the knowledge, get that requisite knowledge on how to use that machine, how to use that technology. That is why business environment, automated business environment is a bit complex. We need to understand, we need to gain the knowledge of using those equipments, the technology. If a business environment is more automated, it is likely to be more complex. If a company uses an integrated ERP system, what is ERP? Enterprise Resource Planning System. Integrated means various operations, processes, departments of that particular organization are linked to each other via this system, this ERP system. SAP, Oracle, these are the examples of ERP. Then it is considered more complex to audit for the auditor. Well, the auditor finds it a bit hard. It is not infeasible, but he needs to take care of some other considerations as well. On the other hand, if the company is using an off-the-shelf accounting software, then it is likely to be less automated and hence less complex environment, right? You have got a standardized software or you have got it customized as per your requirement. So it kind of become complex. It is more standardized. You have got it customized, not bit, but as per your requirements. It is still simple for the auditor to audit. Companies derive benefit from the use of IT systems as an enabler to support various business operations and activities. So the auditor needs to understand that these IT systems are really required by the organization because it saves them time, it saves them the pace, it saves them on the cost. It is true that the use of IT systems and automation benefit the business by making preparations more accurate. Obviously, there is no human error. Reliable, you can trust upon that. Effective and efficient. I hope you must have understood the difference between efficiency and effectiveness by now. Hope so. Just let me know if you all have understood the difference between efficiency and effectiveness. Efficiency is while doing the work. How well are you doing the work? And effectiveness is something which is related with the results of that work. Okay? Because such in systems, use of such with every increasing technology, those bugs and viruses with every versions of the system upgrade of the Android or the Apple, you get new risks, new IT specific risks. And these risks in the organizations, they need to be considered. They need to be given importance. We have to assess the impact of those risks. If these risks materialize anyhow. Risk materialization means that threat relating to that risk has actually occurred. So what could be the impact of that risk? We have to assess that, and they need to be addressed by the management in time. So it should not lead to a situation, it should not lead to a situation when the flood has already come. Okay? Now, coming to the legal part, in Companies Act 2013, we come across a term, internal financial controls. From a regulatory point of view, regulations of internal financial controls. This regulation has been placed on directors and TCWG, those charged with governance, including the board of directors, the audit committee, etc., whosoever is the part of those charged with governance. So they have been made responsible for the implementation of internal controls framework, ICF, within the company. What does your internal control framework say? Specific to every company. The company that says you fall under the eligible category and you have to implement internal financial controls. We'll see which are those companies who have to abide by this particular regulation. And now, if they have placed the responsibility on the directors and those charged with governance, they have placed the responsibility on auditor as well. The auditor has now in his audit report to include reporting on these internal financial controls over financial reporting. Financial reporting is the financial statements, right? The decisions to be taken on the basis of financial statements. That is basically financial reporting. So what are the internal financial controls? IFC. Internal controls is a different thing. Internal financial controls is a different thing. We have this chapter, this topic. At the end of this chapter, we'll take it up. So for this purpose, if a responsibility has been put on the shoulders of the auditor, he needs to understand the IT environment of the company. What are the relevant risks associated with this IT environment? What controls have been put into place in this IT environment. So this is how IT is relevant for us. Okay. Okay, I'll take an example of the accounting software, which was off the shelf and on the shelf. I'll come to it. Definitely come to it. Okay, I'll take it with an example. Risk materialization, Aditi. Risk materialization means the threat that was associated with that risk. If this risk, we say this risk has materialized, means whatever the threat was associated with this risk, that has happened. Like There is a risk if you are going to sleep less, you might, there is a risk of developing nausea, right? Dizziness. If you are not taking proper sleep, there is a risk that you might get unwell. This is the risk, right? When you get unwell, the same thing happens. That means the risk has materialized. I hope this simple example was clear with you, Aditi. Okay. So given below are some situations in which IT will be relevant to an audit. What are those situations? This is an important question for your examination point of view as well. Some situations, tell us some situations where you think that IT is really relevant for an auditor. I would say, what is my need in this particular kind of, why do I need to study audit, IT in audit? Why do I have, as an auditor, why do I have to study? So these are some situations in which you'll definitely understand that yes, IT is relevant. Increased use of systems and application softwares in business. For example, use of ERPs, quite simple. Complexity of transactions has increased. Multiple systems, network of system. For example, the systems are connected by a LAN, WAN. There are different systems, different transactions happening on various kind of systems. So with the large inflow of transactions, the complexity increases. Complexity as in you have to sort out various transactions. And when a human does that, it takes a lot of time and energy. High-tech nature of business, telecom, e-commerce, Amazon, Flipkart, all these environments you need to understand. We have got some different, some new terms in our taxes. You might have read about e-commerce aggregators in your IT and GST. E-commerce aggregators. This term was not there before this e-commerce thing happened to us. It was not there. E-commerce aggregators, right? So there is the businesses have become high, they have high technology oriented. Volume of transactions is high. Insurance, banking, railway ticketing. If you file the returns, you will get to know, or if you make an online transfer using NEFT or RTGS, you will see just within 1 minute how that serial number has processed so fast. If it was a 19, within 1 minute I made another transaction, it would be somewhere at 80, 81. Volume of transactions is very high. And specifically after the introduction of this digital banking, you'll get to know that people sitting in the bank are doing a different job, and the client, the bank customer, is doing many of the jobs using the digital mobile app or net banking services. So volume of transactions, if there is convenience, there is comfortability, the volume of transactions is actually high. There could be company policy. For example, the company could have included it in your policy that the whatever be the auditor, we have to make compliance with every law, and the auditor has to be very well versed, much versed with this knowledge. For example, we have, if you have read about concurrent audit of banks, your internal audit, some companies have made it a policy that if the auditor has done the diploma course organized by the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India in systems audit, only then we can impanel them on our panel. Only then we can offer them work. Because this is some work which is related to IT, and we must be assured that they have the requisite knowledge. So it could be a company policy, regulatory requirement to comply with laws, Companies Act, Internal Financial Controls, Information Technology Act. Sometimes Indian and international standards require the use of IT, and we need to understand that yes, these standards, we need to understand, we need to read and understand these standards. They include the relevance of IT, and it becomes relevant for our audit as well. Increase the efficiency and effectiveness of audit using our audit tools. Our audit tools also make use of information technology and increases our efficiency and effectiveness, the work we are doing. Shriram, it was amended in the year 2000. It was amended in the year 2000. Okay. You'll see IT brackets amendment parentheses. You would have seen amendment written. IT Amendment Act 2000. Okay. So we are done with the general part. Just give me a sec. I'll let you know. Okay. 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 So just a second. Doubt still now, please. Yes, 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 yes. Karthik, we are here. Off the shelf and on the shelf software. Great, great, good, 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 good. It seems I made a mistake. Yes. Off the shelf accounting software, and yes. Hiral, off the shelf accounting software is Tele. Off the shelf is right. I think I gave you the opposite views. Please be, yes, please be informed. I think I gave you the opposite meanings, off the shelf and on the shelf. We have two kinds of softwares, off the shelf software and bespoke softwares. So you just need to understand off the shelf softwares are the standard softwares, and then they are customized softwares. So ERP is a customized software. Just remember two examples. ERP is a customized software, and off the shelf are the standard softwares like Tele, BZ, whatever softwares which is made for the mass market. So working with off-the-shelf software is good. It is easy rather than customized softwares. My sincere apologies for the same. I think I gave you the opposite meaning. I hope it is clear now. The off-the-shelf and customized softwares. Hiral, Karthik. Whosoever had this doubt, I hope it is clear with everybody. Ayush. Ayush, Hiral, and Karthik. Okay. So we are done with the first part. I can understand your situation, Rahul. The topic is like this only. People do get bored with IT, but I see I cannot help it this way. You have to understand the, this topic, the terms, everything in detail, because it is what you are going to write over there in the exam. So please bear with me. I know there are some chapters in your syllabus which are really interesting, where we can take different examples, we can take different stories. But this particular chapter, I can understand that after going through the basics of audit through 5 chapters, when this chapter comes, some people, some students do find it a bit monotonous. But you really can't help it. Even at the time of exams, you will find it that, yes, I have to understand this chapter. Please bear with me on this. Okay, fine. So we have to understand the risks and control in that particular automated environment. So the first thing is understanding. We have to understand the environment, right? The first thing is whatever we want to do, we first have to understand that particular environment. Auditor is required to understand the entity. You all might have done this essay 315. Getting a knowledge of the business of the client, essay 315. Understanding the entity and its automated environment involves understanding how IT systems are organized. What is the organization structure of the systems? How are the IT activities carried out? What is the dependency upon IT? How dependent is the client, the organization on IT systems? The attendance, okay, the orders, the communication between various departments. It is all done through systems highly dependent upon IT. We are using biometrics, retina scan, finger scan, highly dependent upon IT. But we have a person who is taking the attendance. Okay, A person comes, B comes, XYZ comes. The person goes out for lunch, he makes an entry in the register. Then the person comes in again, he makes an entry in the register. This is manual record keeping. So dependence on IT is on down, not that much. So what are the relevant risks and what are the controls? We have to understand it and then document it. Okay. Second, Karthik, this is not much an issue. Once you get used to these systems in your offices during your training, and you'll be able to get through it, the knowledge. You cannot be you cannot be scared of it unless you jump on the field. There was a famous saying, you cannot cross the ocean, you cannot cross the sea by just standing and look it over at the coast or at the beach, right? There was a famous person who quoted this, that to cross the sea, to cross the ocean, you have to get into it. You have to understand the depth of it. Only then you'll be able to cross it. So don't worry, you'll definitely, even if you don't know the XYZ ABC of IT, once you read about it, that is why some people find it boring, because they either know too much or they know nothing about IT. So it is a step-by-step process. You'll definitely understand about it and live it upon your practical experience. Now, when I have to understand the automated environment of the client, what should be my considerations? What do I have to check? I have entered the organization. Wow, what a big building. Wow, beautiful systems, lightning, everything really well-placed workstations. So I'm here for not the architecture audit, I'm here for the automated environments audit. So what should be my considerations as an auditor? I need to know, I need to document what information systems are being used by the organization. So you might have read about it, the mainframes, the servers, the mini-frame computers. Before coming for the next session, I would request everyone to surf the Google's head office on YouTube. If anybody has watched that video, that is really well. Those of you who are not very well versed with the IT, just go on YouTube and surf and watch the Google's head office in LA, and you'll get to know what hardware do search engines require. It is a completely different world. And when we talk about mainframes, mini frames, we'll definitely get to know. Thank you, Mr. Siddharth. Thank you for the quote. Rahul, I wish I could, but I'll try. We have students from all over India, so I would try whatever I could explain in Hindi. I'll explain in Hindi additionally for you. Okay, keeping in mind the sentiments of everyone. So, what are the information systems being used? So they are using 1, 2, 3, many systems. And what kind of systems they are? What is the purpose of those systems? They are being used for some financial activities or non-financial activities. For example, if you have a system in with the security person at the entrance gate of the factory or the office, the purpose of that system is to have a control over the CCTV cameras. That is non-financial. So how many systems are there and what is the purpose of each system? So the purpose of that particular system is non-financial. You would have seen it in web series and those movies that there is a big room, many people are sitting over there, and there are cameras all over here. Each and every room is being looked upon, being checked. हीरे चोरी करके लानी है. So they'll see कहाँ पे क्या हो रहा है. Let's just go to that room. So that is non-financial purpose. Financial purpose is what? Financial purpose is like we are using them to generate financial statements, some financial information. We are using it for banking activities, banking processes. So we need to bifurcate a difference of financial and non-financial, the purpose of those systems. Location of IT systems, local versus global. So I have a system over here, right? And it is being within this building. It is being used within this building. So my work is so much tech driven. I'm using so many of computers that a person sitting in US or any other country, Canada, can access my server through satellite connection or through any connection, cloud usage. You guys understand cloud? Dhanlakshmi, whatever softwares he come across during his audit procedures, whatever softwares the auditor comes across, whatever is relevant for him, definitely accounting and auditing softwares. But if he wants to gain knowledge of the other software as well, he needs to gain knowledge. SA 315. So if you understand about the cloud concept, that would be really good. Otherwise, I'll explain it to you. So location of the IT systems, local versus global. Whether I have the systems that can be accessed within this building only, or I have some systems I can, sitting over here, access them out of the country as well, or some person out of the country can access my system over here as well. The architecture of the system. What is architecture? How are the systems aligned? Right? How are the systems connected to each other? This is a desktop-based desktop. What is a desktop? You all know, placed on the top of a desk. That is a desktop computer. Client server is what? There are different computers within an organization or within an office, and they're connected through each other via wires. Web application or cloud-based. Just let me know if you are well versed with these terms, otherwise I'll explain it to you. I hope you guys have done your IT. Cloud-based, वो बारिश वाला cloud, that rain cloud, please let me know. बारिश वाला? I should have used blue color for barish, right? So not barish wala, cloud. Basically, it is not like this. The cloud is moving and it is throwing data everywhere wherever it is moving. Cloud is actually a technical term. What is it? Whatever work you are doing on your computer over here, right? It is you over here, and you have a different computer. This is a different organization, ABC, and you are sitting over here. Suppose this organization is in US or this organization is in Singapore. It is providing you cloud service. Whatever is the cloud service, like you are working on a file and that file is saved with this system. Whenever you want to work on that file, it can be extracted from this system. These are known as cloud services. They provide services to different people, A, B, C, D in different countries. Your Google Drive, no, your Google Drive or There are many examples. If you're working on the drive, right, you can save it on the drive. You can access it anywhere. If you're not even in the office, you don't have your laptop or computer with you, you can access it on the mobile as well. If there is a file in your desktop, you cannot access it anywhere unless and until it is shared. For example, you all cleared your exam and you went for a party, and all the pictures and videos of the party have been clicked by one student. Let me take that student. Okay, so let us take Aditi. Aditi has clicked all those pictures and videos. Now they are with Aditi. अब सब अदिति के पीछे पड़ गया. Aditi pictures, Aditi's photos. What does Aditi say? Take, oh yeah, I have to form a WhatsApp group and I'll put it in the group. Everybody will have access. But then they'll say the WhatsApp quality is not good of the pictures. We want a high quality pictures, high definition pictures. So what would Aditi do? Aditi would say, okay, let me do this thing. I'll put the whole folder. I'll save the whole folder from my computer, my laptop, or my mobile to the Google Drive. The Google Drive option, the Google Drive facility is being provided by Google company. Okay, so the pictures, everything would be maintained over there with them. Even if you lose data due to a virus attack from your system, there is a virus attack on your system, bug attack on your system, and you lose all your data. But whatever data is over there with the Google Cloud, it will remain safe. You can extract it anywhere. It's like taking a backup of your work every time. If you do a work, you just put it in a pen drive and you can take it anywhere with you. You have to use that pen drive. That pen drive is specifically yours. But you don't have to do Google machines and everything. You just need to know your Google email ID and your password, and you can access those particular files which you have shared with the drive anywhere. So what would Aditi do? Aditi would give the password to those files to everyone in the group. Okay, just log in through your Google account and access the Google Drive folder over here and download all the pictures and videos. So this is the magic of cloud. And Google is not only my property. It is just giving me services. It is everybody's property, or whatever shared they have over there, their files and all. So Google is giving this service to everyone. So this is how cloud organizations might use some specific services from some specific companies on cloud basis. That please maintain our data with you, and we'll keep on working upon it. Yes, Karthik. Sadhu says, what if the data saved with Google in cloud gets hacked? It is going to be a big news. Even the aliens would have to consider them if the data with the Google gets hacked. Their controls, their testing, their systems are so good, so strong. Matlab, it is going to be an out of the world thing if it gets hacked. Okay. So if we come up with the client structure, definitely I'll tell you what is the client structure. The version of the application, whatever version you are using of the software, you need to update your drivers, you need to update your softwares, applications, and then interface within systems. If there are different multiple systems, what is the interface? Is a working place wherever you are working on the system. Then if it is an in-house or a package software, in-house is I have an IT team within me in the company itself. I've asked them to develop a software for me. And package software is like off-the-shelf software. I'm going to remember it every time now while I'm using the term off-the-shelf. That I told you opposite meanings, right? So off-shelf software, the package software, which comes in a package, alternative package. So if it is a package software purchased from the market, what are the risks associated with it? And if it is an in-house fabricated software by the IT team within the organization itself, there would be specific risks. Outsource activities. What is outsourcing? You allot a work to a different person or an organization to do it on your behalf at their place. This is called outsourced activity, or you have completely outsourced it that they'll come to your place and they'll perform those activities. For example, there is this company XYZ. I have given it the contract that you have to maintain and give me IT support throughout the year on contract basis. Whatever faults are there in my IT systems, you must come and get it corrected. You must come over here and check the health, check the strength of my IT systems. And before I move to Rajiv sir, he's already here. You were waiting for him. Rajiv sir, before I hand over the session to him for some time, let me conclude it. The last consideration, the key persons. The key persons in your IT organization structure. They are the CIO, Chief Information Officer, who has every information with him or her. Chief Information Security Officer, the CISO. This person has the responsibility of the security of the information. This person has all the information. He has the responsibility on his shoulders of the security of that particular information. And the other staff, the administrators, who administer the work in IT. So these are the key persons. I should know about them, the policies related to them, their work, and what are their duties. So 6, 7, 8, 9 considerations by the auditor to understand the automated environment. Before we move ahead, I'll welcome Rajiv sir, and he'll like to take up your session for a few minutes. Over to you, Rajiv sir.
Good evening, Vipulji.
Good evening, sir. Good evening.
Good evening to each and every student. Very good evening to all students who are here. Yes, students, in last lecture, we discussed about how to prepare. How do we prepare for examination? And we also discussed few tips. I also discussed few tips that how do you retain the things in your mind, how the things get established in your mind, and how you use them in your examination. One strategy which I have been discussing for the last 2 classes is that you have command over at least few definitions, at least 5 definitions on daily basis. At least 5 definitions on daily basis, and that too up to 5 days. You should do for continuous 5 days. And students, plus simultaneously, we discussed that you should also learn, you should also understand, have the conceptual clarity first, and then you can do the same thing 5 times reading for 3 days. Say, you can continue this practice in the preparation of questions also. These 2 points we discussed in the last 2 lectures. And are there any queries, Vipulji? Are there any queries? Vipulji, can you hear me? Yes. Yes, students?
No, sir, no queries yet. Just greeting you good evening. And
you can put that screen in, you can put the chapter on the screen.
Okay, fine.
Yes. Because I feel more comfortable while the chapter. Yes, this is okay with me.
Sure,
Thank
sir,
you.
sure.
Thank you. Sure. You can also join, people. No problem.
Sir. Okay, sir.
I will be there for 15-20 minutes or so. Yes, students, we discussed the any student having any problem, and the biggest stress I laid on implementation of the strategy. Whatever I am telling you, whatever I am discussing with you about how to prepare for the examination, did you start implementing those things? In particular, Dhanlakshmi was saying that she was not able to retain. So kindly tell your responses, students. And as I told you earlier, that Board of Studies is fully committed for you. A complete hand-holding from Board of Studies. Whatever problems students are facing, they can share with me, and we will.
So we have
solve your problems. Yes,
Rajesh sir, we have two queries.
Yes, tell me.
Sir, kindly guide us. What shall be your strategy for both groups? How to manage and allocate these 3 months' time to all 8 subjects, and how to proceed with every subject each day?
Very good question. Very good question. Yes, students who are appearing, I will disclose my strategy for both type of who are appearing in one group and who are appearing in both groups. First, we will take up for students who are appearing in both groups. Those students who are appearing in both groups, my first assumption, before I move further, my first assumption is that they might have finished their full syllabus and now they are revising on. This is the first precondition to appear in both groups, because at least I say 6 months, but if not 6 months, 3 months prior to examination at least, you must have finished the syllabus of each and every subject. This is the precondition. And now 3 months, for continuous 3 months, you should revise. And for both group students, as the examination draws near, do not maintain distance with any subject. This is the strategy which works like anything. You should not maintain distance with any of the subject. That means you should try to, for both group students, I am advising, you should try to keep in touch with each and every subject on daily basis. If not possible to connect with each and every subject on daily basis, then you should try for at least 6 subjects you got, not 8 subjects, at least 6 subjects you should study on daily basis. So as the examination draws near, you should not keep the distance from any subject. You should be very much conversant with the subject on daily basis, so that you do not get out of touch with any of the subject. So this is and keep revising on daily basis, because it is very important. It is very important on the other end for both group students that you should study for at least 12 to 14 hours a day and allocating your time in the best manner. And another point which I will stress for, this is for both who are appearing in one of the groups or who are appearing for both groups, that you should plan your studies and you should definitely maintain a scheduler. And schedule register, just pick up one notebook and name that notebook scheduler, whatever name you can. And at the day end, just document it. Just document your studies, how you are studying and in which subject, what did you do today, what did you do on say 28 July, 29 July, and that becomes documentation for the, say, for example, 3 months are left. So for 3 months, after 10 days, you will start observing the results that you are able to plan your studies. After 10 days, you will see the fascinating results, because you are able to do much better coordination within the subjects and you are able to, you see, master your plan, and by doing this, your effectiveness and efficiency both will increase. If you are studying for say 12 hours, so at least 10 hours output you will get by this methodology. If you are preparing schedule register, I am saying schedule register again, I am saying that has to be prepared date wise, and all subjects, not subject wise, date wise schedule will be there. On a particular day, what did you do in all subjects? You need to write, starting from accounts, then income tax, costing, law, audit, and so on. And those students who are appearing in one of the groups, and now it is must for them. This is must for them, that they do not prepare distance, they do not keep distance from any subject on daily basis. This is my advice. However, you can do it 10% plus minus will do. Rather 20% you should be flexible. My advice is that you take up each and every subject on daily basis. Each and every subject. For single group students can easily do this exercise. And by doing this, students, you will feel very much confident in all of the subjects, because you are doing simultaneously all the subjects and you are not maintaining any distance with any of the subject, and you do not get out of touch with any of the subject. So, and again, those students who are appearing in one of the groups, they should study for at least, I should say again, 10 to 12 hours. And practice is the only key to get a wonderful and marvelous success in the examination. Practice is the only key, I am telling you. Because if I take the example of Sachin Tendulkar, how he used to bat, or how it was watching, it was a very simple. People used to watch, oh, kitna aasan hai sixer marna. It is very easy to put six on every ball, like, और देखने वाले को कितना आसान लगता है कि बड़ी जल्दी छक्का मार दिया होगा इसने और सिक्सर, वाह वाह वाह. बट यू सी सचिन तेंदुलकर 10,000 टाइम्स प्रैक्टिस करता था एक पर्टिकुलर बॉल के ऊपर. 10,000 टाइम्स प्रैक्टिस, स्टूडेंट, 10,000 टाइम्स एक पर्टिकुलर बॉल के ऊपर. तो आप ये देखो कि प्रैक्टिस कितने बड़े रिजल्ट्स, कितने बड़े काम कर सकती है, कितना बड़ा काम कर सकती है. तो व्हाट आई जस्ट put more weightage on practice and practice. You should read 5 times, 10 times, 15 times on continuous 5 days, continuous 10 days, till the time you are able to establish in your mind. This is the key idea behind. Yes, I have answered the first query of the students who are appearing in both groups, and as well as those students who are appearing in single group. Yes,
yes,
another query?
Sir, sometimes we are getting distracted from the classes. Can you give tips to stay focused in the class?
Can you give the tips to?
Stay focused in the class. They get distracted from the classes.
Achha, how to focus on class?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, students, how to focus on class? This is another. The answer to this is again a very good question, I should say. The answer to this question is, believe me, it works very well. What I am going to say is, and you should, what I am telling you, you should just note down in your notebooks and practice that also. Because आज मैं आपको बता रहा हूँ, कल आप भूल जाओगे ये बात भी. आप फोकस करोगे अगर स्टूडेंट्स आप स्टडीज को, वंस यू स्टार्ट एंजॉयिंग योर स्टडीज, आपका फोकस ऑटोमेटिकली बढ़ जाएगा. पहला, जब भी आप स्टडी करो, ये सोचो कि आज हमारे ने बड़ा एंजॉयमेंट करना है, दिस इज ए सॉर्ट ऑफ एंजॉयमेंट फॉर मी। मेरे लिए सबसे बड़ा एंजॉयमेंट स्टडी करना। हाँ, आनंद आ रहा है मुझे, बहुत मजा आ रहा है, आज बहुत मजा आने वाला है स्टडी करना। और अगर मैं स्टूडेंट्स कोई काम भी इंजॉयमेंट से करूंगा तो मेरा फोकस वहां से हट ही नहीं सकता। बिलीव मी, आप करके देखो। आप 10 मिनट के लिए बेशक एक्सपेरिमेंट, 15 मिनट के लिए, आधे घंटे के लिए करके देखो। जब भी आप बहुत अच्छे मूड से, विद वेरी गुड मूड, विद वेरी गुड टेम्परामेंट, विद प्ले वे मेथडोलॉजी, हंस हंस के आप कर रहे हो, इंजॉय करके कर रहे हो, आपका फोकस हटेगा ही नहीं। बिकॉज देन यू गेट totally involved in the class, because I am enjoying that class. Then I will get totally, because like you, if you go to watch a movie, then you do not think, then your focus is 200% on that movie. When you are watching, say, a match of, say, any sport, say badminton match or cricket match you are watching, then your focus is not, you see, डामाडोल आपका फोकस नहीं होता, फोकस आपका नहीं हटता। तो बिकॉज मैं माइंड को ट्यूनिंग ही ऐसी करता हूं, मैं कहता हूं कि हाँ मजा आ रहा है मुझे पिक्चर देख के, मुझे क्रिकेट मैच देख के बहुत मजा आ रहा है, आने वाला है। सो इसलिए मेरा फोकस 100% होता है। तो इट मीन्स जहां पे मैं एंजॉय करूंगा मेरा फोकस वहां पे 100% होगा। तो लेट अस स्टार्ट एंजॉयिंग आवर स्टडीज। और स्टूडेंट्स, इसके 10 टाइम्स आपको ज्यादा रिजल्ट देखने को मिलेंगे, बिलीव मी। 10 भी कम है, 100 टाइम्स ज्यादा आपको रिजल्ट मिलने वाले, आप एंजॉयमेंट करके अगर स्टडीज को शुरू कर दें। और इसमें वाकई बहुत, बिलीव मी, बहुत मजा आता है स्टडीज करने, प्रैक्टिस बार बार करने में। तो आपके एक प्रेपरेशन लेवल, आपके कोई लिमिट नहीं रहेगी, आपके नेक्स्ट लेवल पे आप फटाफट से पहुंचोगे। विद इन 5 डेज आपका नेक्स्ट लेवल अचीव हो जाएगा। सो ट्राई टू इम्प्लीमेंट दीज थिंग्स व्हाट आई एम टेलिंग यू। कुछ साथ में, यस, अनदर, are there more queries, Vipulji?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes, tell me. I would love to answer.
Sir, may I request Board of Studies to take a step to provide test series to our students and evaluating our answers, so that whenever a test will be there, we all put our efforts to prepare for that particular subject, which develops confidence and regularity with subjects.
No doubt. Test series will be there in the month of September. September and October test series will be there. So टेस्ट सीरीज, प्लीज रिमेंबर, तैयारी करने के बाद ही आपका अच्छा, तैयारी के वंस यू प्रिपेयर देन अपीयर इन द टेस्ट सीरीज। दिस इज द फंडामेंटल, एंड टेस्ट सीरीज विल बी देयर, मॉक टेस्ट विल बी देयर। Yes, another query?
Yes, sir. Yes. So when what should we study? Illustrations, previous year RTPs, MTPs, are these enough for securing 70 plus?
I do not define, I do not go after marks. Please remember, students, for the last 2 classes I am saying, I will do preparation only and marks will follow. What you should do, you should start preparing, focus more on preparation rather than focusing on marks, because marks will follow always. Please note that marks will follow. First do preparations and marks will follow. मैं स्टूडेंट्स आपके कंसेप्चुअल अंडरस्टैंडिंग के लिए एक टॉपिक शेयर करूंगा आपसे। प्रोफेशनल से एसए 200 चैप्टर 1 के अंदर स्टूडेंट्स आपने पढ़ा है, स्टडी किया है, उसके 5 रिक्वायरमेंट्स के 5 कंपोनेंट्स हैं। देयर आर 5 रिक्वायरमेंट्स इन एसए 200। लेट अस डिस्कस समथिंग टेक्निकल, कि आप कैसे कंसेप्ट बिल्डिंग भी कैसे करो। कंसेप्ट बिल्डिंग आपके टीचर्स आपकी करा रहे हैं, थी नैन्सी सिंगला, थी शीश बहल जी, थी विपुल सर। कंसेप्ट बिल्डिंग आपकी हो रही है, ऑटोमेटिकली हो रही है। कंसेप्ट बिल्डिंग, क्लास अटेंडिंग इज नॉट इनफ, प्लीज रिमेंबर। And after the class is over, you should devote that much time to your studies, the time which you are devoting on your class, at least that much time. Say 2 hours की क्लास है तो 2 hours आप अगेन उसे रिवाइज जरूर करो, तभी क्लास अटेंड करने का फायदा होता है। बेनिफिट आपको बहुत 10 टाइम्स इसके बेनिफिट हो जाएंगे अगर आप उतना पढ़ोगे। पर प्रॉब्लम क्या कहाँ है स्टूडेंट्स, हम क्लास अटेंड कर लेते हैं, हम कहते हैं इनफ है, but that is not enough. So for example, आप क्लास आपने अटेंड कर ली, नाउ प्रोफेशनल एथिकल जो रिक्वायरमेंट्स ऑफ एसए 200, देयर इज वन टॉपिक, देयर इज वन रिक्वायरमेंट कॉल्ड प्रोफेशनल स्केप्टिसिज्म. तो मैं वो टॉपिक आपको करके दिखाता हूं आपके स्टडी मटेरियल के अंदर. Those students who are online, they can open the study material and we are on page 1.32. Say for example, professional skepticism refers to, अब जब भी आप कोई भी किसी भी चीज का मीनिंग कोई टर्म एग्जाम में पूछी जाती है, उसने पूछ लिया ऑडिट एविडेंस, व्हाट डू यू अंडरस्टैंड बाय ऑडिट एविडेंस. जैसे प्रोफेशनल स्केप्टिसिज्म आपसे आप क्या समझ, व्हाट डू यू अंडरस्टैंड बाय प्रोफेशनल स्केप्टिसिज्म. आप पेज नंबर 1.32 पे स्टूडेंट्स अगर देखोगे, कहता है प्रोफेशनल स्केप्टिसिज्म रेफर्स टू एन एटीट्यूड. अब यहाँ पे मैं आपको ये बता रहा था, कीवर्ड्स नहीं आपने मिस करने. व्हाइल you establish definition, I am trying to establish this definition in my mind. तो मैं इसमें कीवर्ड्स को तो माइंड में अपने एस्टेब्लिश करूंगा ही करूंगा. जैसे इट इज एन एटीट्यूड, या प्रोफेशनल ऑडिट एविडेंस मींस व्हाट, इट इज द इंफॉर्मेशन. प्रोफेशनल स्केप्टिसिज्म क्या है, इट इज एन एटीट्यूड एंड दैट इंक्लूड्स, इट इज एन एटीट्यूड दैट इंक्लूड्स ए क्वेश्चनिंग माइंड. ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट वर्ड है, इसमें एटीट्यूड बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट वर्ड है, कीवर्ड है. इट इज एन एटीट्यूड दैट इंक्लूड्स ए क्वेश्चनिंग माइंड. तो क्वेश्चनिंग माइंड पे बहुत स्ट्रेस है कि ऑडिटर का माइंड कैसा होना चाहिए, हाउ द माइंड ऑफ एन ऑडिटर शुड बी. इट शुड बी क्वेश्चनिंग माइंड, इट शुड बी अलर्ट माइंड. माइंड कैसा होना चाहिए, अलर्ट होना चाहिए, ऑलवेज अलर्ट. आशीष सर का लेक्चर अगर आपने अटेंड किया है तो उन्होंने इंस्टीट्यूट का मोटो जो है उससे, या एष सुप्तेषु जागृति वाला जो उन्होंने एग्जांपल लिया था वहां पे, कि व्हेन एवरीबॉडी इज स्लीपिंग आई एम अवेकन, दिस सॉर्ट ऑफ थिंग. सो अलर्ट माइंड, क्वेश्चनिंग माइंड. क्या कह रहा है, प्रोफेशनल स्केप्टिसिज्म रेफर्स टू. अब लेक्चर आपने अटेंड कर लिया, नाउ यू शुड गो टू द मटेरियल. This is what I mean to say. This is, I am telling you how you should do the concept building after the class. After the class is over. Now class is over. Say I am studying professional skepticism on my own. मैंने क्लास में अंडरस्टैंडिंग बेसिक डेवलप कर लिया, बेसिक अंडरस्टैंडिंग मुझे हो गई. Professional skepticism refers to an attitude that includes a questioning mind. यहाँ तक और लर्निंग का स्टूडेंट्स एक प्रिंसिपल आप रट लो अच्छी तरह से कि स्लो लर्निंग इज द बेस्ट लर्निंग. जितना आप स्लो लर्न करोगे वो चीजें आपके माइंड में उतनी ज्यादा एस्टेब्लिश होने वाली है. डोंट बी इन हरी टू स्टडी, मेरा तो ये काम रह गया वो रह गया, नो, नथिंग. आप आराम से करो, हैव पेशेंस व्हाइल यू आर स्टडिंग, और आराम से उसको डाइजेस्ट. आपका डाइजेशन जो है स्लो होना चाहिए, आपकी ग्रेस्पिंग, आप जो चीजों को समझ के आपको करना है. कंसेप्ट बिल्डिंग इसे बोलते हैं. अभी मैं इसको 5 बार आपको पढ़ के आपको करके दिखा रहा हूं. मैंने लास्ट 2 लेक्चर्स में बोला है खाली, लेकिन इस लेक्चर के अंदर, इन दिस लेक्चर आई एम गिविंग यू द प्रैक्टिकल एग्जांपल ऑफ दिस, कैसे करना है, हाउ टू डू. अभी तक मैंने हाउ टू डू वाला पार्ट आपको नहीं सिखाया था. अभी मैं आपको हाउ टू डू एक एग्जाम्पल के थ्रू कि मैं कंसेप्ट बिल्डिंग कैसे कर रहा हूं, और साथ साथ में आई वुड बी एबल टू लर्न दिस डेफिनेशन आल्सो. प्रोफेशनल स्केप्टिसिज्म रेफर्स टू व्हाट, क्या कीवर्ड था स्टूडेंट्स, एंड इट इज एन एटीट्यूड विच इंक्लूड्स ए क्वेश्चनिंग माइंड. अभी मुझे देखने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ रही. विच इंक्लूड्स ए क्वेश्चनिंग माइंड, बीइंग अलर्ट टू. अब क्वेश्चनिंग माइंड तो अलर्ट होता है ना, तो अगले वर्ड्स मेरे दिमाग में ऑटोमेटिकली आ रहे हैं. बीइंग अलर्ट टू the conditions, कौन सी conditions, which may indicate possible misstatement. Questioning mind, being alert to, questioning mind alert ही होगा. Questioning mind, being alert to what? Conditions which may indicate possible misstatement. Due to possible misstatement, due to error or fraud, and a critical assessment of audit evidence. Why an auditor should have a questioning mind? Now question arises, why an auditor should have a questioning mind? This is the biggest question. By having this attitude of professional skepticism, you can, अब मैं why का आंसर दे रहा हूं स्टूडेंट्स आपको. By having this attitude of professional skepticism, you can recognize contradictory evidence. You can recognize contradictory evidence. If contradictory evidence is coming to you, for example, इसका मैं एग्जांपल, अब मैं बोल रहा हूं कि आप थोड़ा थोड़ा लिख लोगे ना, आपको कंसेप्ट बिल्डिंग भी करनी आ जाएगी और चीजों को कैसे माइंड में स्टैब्लिश करना है वो भी आ जाएगा. फॉर एग्जांपल, मेरे लेजर के अंदर, आप लेजर, यू गो टू द क्लाइंट लेजर, और लेजर के अंदर आप एक अकाउंट देखते हो, से पी लिमिटेड अकाउंट, उसके अंदर स्टूडेंट रिसीवेबल एक खड़ा है से 10,57,000 का, 10,57,000 का एक रिसीवेबल है फॉर एग्जाम्पल, और से 500 मीट्रिक टन से मैंने उसे किसी प्रोडक्ट की क्वांटिटी आपको बोल रहा हूं, 550 मीट्रिक टन मैंने उसे सेल किया था. नाउ व्हेन आई गो टू द स्टॉक लेजर, तो स्टॉक लेजर में आप देखो कि 550 मीट्रिक टन की क्या कोई वहां पे आउटवर्ड शो कर रहा है क्या? अगर वहां पे 550, लेटर सपोज वहां पे 550 मीट्रिक टन तो शो ही नहीं कर रहा, और लेकिन 10,57,000 रुपए मैंने डेटर से लेने हैं, उसको सेल किया था मैंने, और 550 मीट्रिक टन मैंने सेल किया था, तो ये अगर वहां पे स्टॉक लेजर में आउट हुआ ही नहीं और उधर डेटर से लेना दिखा रहा है, इट मींस ये कॉन्ट्राडिक्टरी एविडेंस आपके पास आ रहा है. इस आपका माइंड यहाँ पे अलर्ट हो जाना चाहिए कि ये जो एविडेंस मेरे पास आ रहा है ये कॉन्ट्राडिक्टरी, अपने आप में कॉन्ट्राडिक्टरी, स्टॉक लेजर कुछ बोल रहा है और उसका फाइनेंशियल लेजर कुछ बोल रहा है. सो दिस इज हाउ यू शुड प्रोसीड. So that's why I should have the questioning mind, because contradictory evidence जो है वो मुझे उस पे, वो मेरे को पता लगना चाहिए कि contradictory evidence जो आ रहा है. If your evidence is going contradictory, then you need to be very much alert. Now if contradictory evidence is coming to me, then what will I do? Then I will apply more audit procedures. अब मैं audit procedures जो आपने पढ़े हैं वो मैं ज्यादा लगाने शुरू कर दूंगा, और अब मैं audit procedures भी ज्यादा लगाऊंगा, और मेरा दिमाग कहाँ पे जाएगा? मेरा दिमाग ये जाएगा कहीं कोई फ्रॉड तो नहीं हुआ होगा. Now my mind will become suspicious of fraud. Suspicion arise होएगा माइंड में कि कहीं फ्रॉड तो नहीं है. तो देन अब ये आपका जो अलर्टनेस लेवल है ये और बढ़ेगा, एंड यू नीड टू बी वेरी मच अलर्ट फॉर कॉन्ट्राडिक्टरी एविडेंस coming across. And this attitude involving professional skepticism will help the auditor in risk of, आपका कौन सा रिस्क खत्म होगा इसमें? ओवरलुकिंग का रिस्क आपका खत्म हो जाएगा कि आप चीजों को मिस कर जाएं, ये नहीं होगा अगर आप अलर्ट माइंड रखते हैं. आपका केयरलेस एटीट्यूड खत्म होएगा, वो कम होगा, और ओवर जनरलाइजेशन नहीं होगा चीजों का. ये 3 इसमें फायदे होने वाले हैं आपको. तो मैंने आपको प्रोफेशनल स्केप्टिसिज्म एक तो क्या होता है ये बताया, और कंसेप्ट को कैसे माइंड में, कॉन्ट्राडिक्टरी एविडेंस बताया कि कैसे होता है, उसका एग्जांपल भी दिया मैंने. और विद दिस वी आर एबल टू लर्न द डेफिनेशन. हम डेफिनेशन को एक दो बार और पढ़ते हैं. आप भी इसको पढ़ो, जो स्टूडेंट्स क्लास को देख रहे हैं वो इसको अच्छे तरीके से 5 बार रीड करके देखो कि ये हो रहा है या नहीं हो रहा. नाउ प्रोफेशनल skepticism refers to an attitude that includes a questioning mind, being alert to conditions which may indicate possible misstatements due to error or fraud, and a critical assessment of audit evidence. जो मैंने आपको बताया contradictory evidence की बात हम कर रहे थे. तो आप अभी 2 बार में ही काफी मेरे को चीजें सारी क्लियर हो गई और 50% डेफिनेशन लर्न होनी शुरू हो गई. मेरे ख्याल विपुल जी भी अभी सुना देंगे क्या होता है. सो स्टूडेंट्स, मैं आपको यही कहूंगा कि एक दिन में कम से कम 4-5 कंसेप्ट्स, कम से कम 5-6, जैसे मैंने प्रोफेशनल स्केप्टिसिज्म उठाया आज, इसी तरह नेक्स्ट लेक्चर में मैं दूसरा कोई कंसेप्ट उठाऊंगा. अभी मैं टाइम की पॉसिबिलिटी के कारण आई थिंक अभी 7:30, मोर देन 7:30 टाइम हो चुका है. और विपुल जी अभी आपको चैप्टर 6 पढ़ा रहे हैं. इंटरेस्टिंग चैप्टर है क्योंकि आईटी से रिलेटेड है. तो स्टूडेंट्स, मैंने आपको, और विपुल जी को क्वेरीज हैं?
राजीव सर, 2 क्वेरीज रिपीटेडली आ रही है, अगर आप जाने से पहले ये एड्रेस कर दें.
आई विल.
एक क्वेरीज आ रही है दैट व्हेन दे स्टार्ट लर्निंग न्यू टॉपिक दे फॉरगेट द प्रीवियस वन व्हिच दे हैव रेड.
हाँ, ये तो, बहुत अच्छा क्वेश्चन. किसका क्वेश्चन है ये विपुल जी?
मिस हीरल पारेख.
हीरल पारेख,
हाँ जी.
आपने मेरे एक तो मैंने जो लास्ट लेक्चर बट 1, उससे पहले एक लेक्चर मैंने लिया था सीए नैन्सी सिंगला के साथ, चैप्टर 4 का लास्ट. उसमें मैंने हाफ एन आवर लेट ज्वाइन किया था, थोड़ा सा 6:30 के राउंड मेरे ख्याल से ज्वाइन किया था, या चेक कर लेना एक बार आप. उसमें मैंने टेक्निक बताई थी कि आप जब कोई टॉपिक आप करते हो तो आपको एक दिन करके नहीं छोड़ना, 5 टाइम्स करना. कैसे है टॉपिक, कैसे करना है? कम से कम 5 टाइम्स रीडिंग करके टॉपिक करना है. हरी में नहीं करना है, एक तो स्लोली करना है. एक आप ये कहते हैं ना, पल्ले बांध लो बात, जस्ट कीप इट विद यू दिस थिंग फॉर एवर, और लिख लो एक बार अच्छी तरह से. आप अपने नोटबुक में लिख लो कि कभी भी जो आप कंसेप्ट बिल्डिंग कर रहे हो या चीजों को समझ रहे हो या कर रहे हो, वो हरी में नहीं करना, स्लो करना है. और कम से कम 5 टाइम्स रीडिंग देके करना है. चाहे आप एक ही बार में हो गया, ऐसा नहीं कहना कि एक बार में हो गया, 2 बार में हो गया. 5 टाइम्स रीडिंग पहले दिन तो जरूर दो. दिस इज वन थिंग. अब उस टॉपिक को आपको एक दिन करके छोड़ दोगे तो अगले दिन तो वो रिटेन रहेगा नहीं, ये पक्का है. चाहे वो डेफिनेशन है या आपका क्वेश्चन आपने प्रिपेयर किया कोई, अगले दिन नहीं रहेगा. अगर तो डेफिनेशन है तो उसको 5 दिन तक लगातार करना है, 5 consecutive days. तो वो आपके माइंड में जाके स्टेब्लिश होती है. फिर आप मुझे बताना, धीरल पारेख बताया ना आपने नाम?
हीरल पारेख.
तो हीरल, आप फिर मुझे बताना कि क्या वो आपके दिमाग में रही या नहीं रही. 5 दिन करके फिर बताओ मेरे को, तब रिजल्ट्स बताओ. मैं बार बार दोनों लेक्चर्स में मैंने यही बात बोली है, या 5 टाइम्स फॉर 5 days. ये तो डेफिनेशन के लिए रूल है, और ये प्रैक्टिस का रूल बता रहा हूं. जैसे मैंने बताया सचिन तेंदुलकर 10,000 टाइम्स, तो लो हमारे पास इतना टाइम नहीं है 10,000 टाइम्स के लिए, लेकिन मैं कह रहा हूं 5 टाइम्स फॉर 5 days. और ये तो डेफिनेशन के लिए क्राइटेरिया है या कंसेप्ट के लिए, जो बेसिक कंसेप्ट है. लेकिन अगर आप कोई क्वेश्चन प्रिपेयर कर रहे हैं, 5 टाइम्स फॉर 2 days और 3 days, कम से कम 2 दिन तक तो करो उस क्वेश्चन को. और 2 दिन अगर आप 2 days तक करते हो तो आपका कॉन्फिडेंस मेरे हिसाब से 100 नहीं तो 75 तक तो आ जाएगा. हीरल पारेख, आप मुझे करके बताना नेक्स्ट लेक्चर में जब मैं आऊंगा विपुल जी के साथ, तो आपसे फिर आपका फीडबैक मैं जरूर लूंगा. विपुल जी, आप इनका नाम जरूर नोट कर लेना, हीरल पारेख का, so that we can have the definite feedback from her.
There was this person, मेरे को नाम नहीं ध्यान, उन्होंने बोला भी है on this point only that sir your guidance really helped me. मैं chapter 4 के जो points हैं, I have revised them 2 to 3 times and it has helped me a lot. Now I'm able to grasp that particular concept as well as able to recall it. I don't know the name.
Feedback, मेरे को स्टूडेंट का नाम बताओ.
Just a second, sir. Yes, this is Mr. Karthik Gupta.
Karthik Gupta.
The second consecutive day, I revised all the definitions of chapter 4 second time today.
Superb. कार्तिक गुप्ता, मैं आपको मतलब माई कॉम्प्लीमेंट्स टू यू फॉर दिस। और मैंने कार्तिक गुप्ता इज वन स्टूडेंट हु इज कॉलिंग मी, क्योंकि मैंने अपने नंबर भी शेयर किए हैं, हु इज कॉलिंग मी, और इसका शेड्यूल रजिस्टर भी मैं बात कर रहा है, बहुत अच्छा शेड्यूल रजिस्टर बना रहा है।
ओके,
एकदम हाँ, तो बहुत अच्छा है। वो मुझे व्हाट्सएप कर रहा है शेड्यूल रजिस्टर, और मैं चेक कर रहा हूँ कि क्या उसमें कैसे वो कर रहा है। ही इज डूइंग वंडरफुल शेड्यूलिंग कर रहा है कार्तिक गुप्ता भाई। फुल कॉम्प्लीमेंट्स टू कार्तिक गुप्ता।
This is something really new, sir. Rajiv sir, हमारे टाइम आप कहाँ थे? Now there you are getting in touch with each and every student individually and over WhatsApp as well. We
yes,
we
yes.
we
Vipul
didn't
ji,
get this kind of service and luxury.
I have shared my both numbers.
Oh, really
All
nice, sir.
students.
Yes, sir.
Again,
Okay.
I am sharing my numbers in each
Okay.
and every lecture. I am sharing my numbers ताकि जो students नए आए हैं वो मेरा नंबर नोट कर लें। 9718036119 and my other number is 9466789298। विपुल जी, I request you कि आप लेक्चर के एंड में मेरे नंबर आप जरूर शेयर कर देना स्टूडेंट्स को दोनों, और लिख देना आप उस पे स्क्रीन पे आप लिख देना ताकि स्टूडेंट्स नोट डाउन कर लेंगे।
सर मैं अभी लिख देता हूँ,
अभी लिख दीजिए तो बहुत अच्छा रहेगा।
रिपीट करेंगे?
थैंक यू सो मच। 97180।
हाँ जी सर।
36119।
अच्छा, ये मैं अभी अपने पास लिख लेता हूँ और फिर मैं स्क्रीन पे लिख दूंगा 9718036119।
आपके पास तो वैसे मेरे नंबर है ही 94667
667
89298।
मैं कॉपी पेस्ट कर दूंगा यहाँ से सर।
राइट, थैंक यू सो मच विपुल जी। और आप स्टूडेंट्स को शेयर कर देना, और दे कैन कॉल मी एट एनी टाइम, और मैं कॉल बैक जरूर कर रहा हूँ। स्टूडेंट्स काफी जुड़ भी रहे हैं।
ओके सर, ओके,
व्हाटएवर गाइडेंस दे वांट। अभी तो मेरा लेक्चर अभी मैंने हाफ एन आवर बोला है, तो हो सकता है स्टूडेंट्स को बाद में दिक्कत आए, तो दे कैन कॉल मी।
फॉर श्योर सर,
ठीक है ना। सैटरडे संडे नो बार। आपकी तैयारी अच्छी होनी। माई कंसर्न इज योर प्रेपरेशन। और जो स्टूडेंट्स अभी लास्ट अटेम्प्ट में मे एग्जाम में नहीं क्वालिफाई, बिल्कुल घबराना नहीं उन्हें, वो टच में रहें। दे शुड कीप इन टच, और हम उनकी प्रेपरेशन को एक बहुत अच्छे लेवल पे ले जाएंगे, बट दे शुड कीप इन टच। दिस इज द थिंग।
फॉर श्योर सर, आई शेयर योर नंबर सर।
और आपको क्या होता है कि अगर आप टच में रह के तैयारी करते हो, अगर आप बता के करते हो, तो आपका मोटिवेशन और मोरल दोनों हाई रहते हैं। हियर लाइज द डिफरेंस।
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल सर।
एक है मैंने बता के आपको छोड़ दिया और फिर आपकी खबर नहीं ली, तो उससे कुछ नहीं होने वाला।
हाँ जी, हाँ जी, बिल्कुल।
तो विपुल जी, और क्वेरी है तो मैं आंसर कर देता हूँ।
कार्तिक की क्वेरी थी, द सेम गाय।
ओके।
लाइक वो 3-4 बार रिपीट कर चुका है। कहते हैं हमने कुछ क्लासेस वी अटेंडेड अ लॉन्ग टाइम अगो, एंड नाउ व्हेन वी टेक देम अप, so कहते it was our mistake that we didn't keep in touch with those lectures and all. We didn't revise it on timely basis, schedule बना के. So now we are finding to the revision to be very difficult. So please, if you could enlighten us upon that.
हाँ, ये इसका भी मैं आंसर देता हूँ। कार्तिक, आपने ना ये जो बहुत अच्छा क्वेश्चन रेज किया है, जो कि सभी स्टूडेंट्स के लिए बड़ा हेल्पफुल होगा। देखो, अगर आज आपको ये बात समझ में आ गई है, जब भी समझ में आ जाए, आप उसके बाद इंप्लीमेंटेशन शुरू कर दो। और ये मत सोचो कि हमने लेट शुरू किया है, ये सोचना ही नहीं। हमने माइंड में एक बार भी नहीं सोचना, बिकॉज दैट वो नेगेटिव थिंकिंग शुरू कर देता है। आपने सिर्फ एक ही पॉजिटिव थिंकिंग से एग्जाम जब पास आ जाता है, 3 महीने मुझे तो बहुत पास लगता है एटलीस्ट, तो एग्जाम जब पास आ जाता है, आपने कोई और बात सोचनी नहीं। जो मेरे दिमाग में आज आ गया, अभी जैसे कार्तिक गुप्ता कह रहा है कि अब हम ऐसे शुरू कर देते हैं, तो आज आपके दिमाग में आ गया। आप ये मत सोचो मैं पहले नहीं कर पाया, डोंट थिंक ओवर इट, क्योंकि ये आपको फिर एक नेगेटिव फैक्टर मिल जाएगा। तो एग्जाम से पहले कोई नेगेटिव फैक्टर मुझे माइंड में नहीं एंटर करना। मुझे तो पॉजिटिव ही रहना है। मुझे तो ये है कि जो हो रहा है बड़ा अच्छा कर रहा हूँ, मैंने तैयारी को नेक्स्ट लेवल पे लेके जाना ही जाना। और ऑलवेज डू दिस इंडेवर। मैं आपको पूरे टिप्स देता हूँ, पूरी हैंड होल्डिंग करता हूँ, कंप्लीट हैंड होल्डिंग। थ्योरेटिकल पेपर्स में बिल्कुल घबराने की जरूरत नहीं, लाइक इन ऑडिटिंग। और आप थ्योरेटिकल पेपर्स को ऐसे ही आप और उसको करना शुरू, लेट अस डू इट। मैं तो एक प्रिंसिपल स्टूडेंट्स को सबको समझाता हूँ, जो मेरे पास मिलने भी आते हैं बोर्ड ऑफ स्टडीज या मेरे टच में रहते हैं। मैं कहता हूँ लेट अस डू इट। जो मैं बातें बता रहा हूँ ना, खाली कान रस्सिया बोलते हैं ना, कि आप कानों से सुन के मजा, नो 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 नो, नॉट दिस, लेट अस डू इट। मैं प्रैक्टिकल कह रहा हूं। मैंने आज अभी आपको प्रोफेशनल स्केप्टिसिज्म करके बताया, और नेक्स्ट लेक्चर में मैं कुछ और बताऊंगा आपको करके। तो स्टूडेंट्स, लेट अस डू इट। आप एक हमेशा अपने आप को मैसेज दो कि लेट अस स्टार्ट। आज तक मैं कहता हूं, अभी तक भी स्टूडेंट्स ने नहीं शुरू किया, घबराने की जरूरत नहीं। अब अभी भी टच में आओ और शुरू करो। यस, व्हाट डू यू से विपुल जी?
Yeah, I completely agree, sir. Completely agree
थैंक यू सो मच,
with
थैंक यू,
you.
थैंक्स टू ईच एंड एवरी स्टूडेंट। और क्वेरीज होंगी तो विपुल जी आप नोट कर लेना,
मैं
हम
नोट कर लूंगा
नेक्स्ट
सर.
लेक्चर में हम उनको रिस्पॉन्ड कर देंगे।
Yes, sir. I'll definitely sort them out and I'll
ग्रेट,
extract the common queries for you.
थैंक यू विपुल जी, थैंक यू सो
My
मच,
pleasure, sir. Okay,
एंड
sir.
थैंक यू ऑल स्टूडेंट्स, थैंक यू।
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you for your presence. Okay, so uh, I'll share the both the numbers again with you people. I'll share both the numbers again with you people, right? So don't worry about that. And those whose questions left unanswered today, we'll take them up in the next session. So please don't worry about that. And okay, we'll take a break. We'll take a break of 15 minutes. Okay, it's 7:45. We'll be back here at by 8. We'll be back here by 8. Okay, everyone, as we were talking about the different ways of the computer architecture, I'll definitely take up those in next class as well. Before we start with the next class, I'll take up. We have to take up data center and some data analytics work. I'll take up different terms to be used in this chapter with that portion, and in those terms, I have also included all the terms we will be doing today. Okay, so please don't worry about the those technical terms and some technical stuff. We'll take them up in the next class for sure. Before we proceed further, let me take you on a tour to the Google data center. Okay, just a sec. Right. So here we go, taking you to a tour to the Google data center, right? Just watch it.
Whenever you use a Google product, you're connecting to one of our data centers around the world. Let's take a look inside and see how they work. Google employees work here, keeping the data center up and running 24 hours a day. The networking room is the first stop on our data center floor. The equipment here routes requests to the right servers in the next room. These computers also allow our data centers to communicate with one another globally. On the server floor, powerful computers handle everything from billions of searches to hosting YouTube videos and protecting your email against viruses. We've custom designed these servers to be compact and energy efficient. To ensure you have access to your data whenever you need it, we keep each piece of data stored on at least 2 servers. We store another copy of the most important data on digital tapes. When a hard drive breaks, we erase all of its content. Then, for extra security, we destroy it with our disk crusher. The machines in our data centers are always working. Cooling towers like these pipe in water to cool them down and keep them running. When the water heats up, we pump it back outside where it evaporates. Now that you've had a glimpse, walk inside yourself. Explore a Google data center with Street View.
Okay, so you got to see when someone is asking me, sir, what if the data center hacks? What will happen then? So there was that she beautifully explained in that video that we have we keep a backup onto different servers. That was actually the servers they maintain over there. That was a server room. They were telling you how servers are placed on each floor and how do they network with each other globally. How do the search engines work? How do they maintain the data? Someone asked me, sir, if it gets hacked, they have pure security arrangements for that. And how does Google offices network with each other? How do they keep a piece of information, that information sharing with each other? The number of people, how are the systems implemented, the server room, how does it heat up, and they use water through the pipes, then they pump the water back and it evaporates. This is what you need to do with technology as well. So that was just a glimpse into the technology, and as an auditor, what should I expect while entering the organization, setting my foot forward that I'm going to audit this organization. It has IT environment, automated environment. I hope everybody is back with me over here. Can you please put on in the query box? Put it over there. We are back after break. So I may resume the chapter further. Only Hitesh is back. बाकी सब खाना खाने चले गए डिनर के लिए. Okay, chaliye. I'll move further. So what do we have next? Okay. So understood the controls, the risk. Oh, nice. You are with me. Aditi says, please repeat the question. Aditi, I didn't ask any question. Acha, you asked me, what was the question was, are you guys back? Are you here with me? Some are back with dinners in their hands. Huh? Dinner in their hands. Okay. So we understood the environment. What was the main topic? What was the topic? Understanding and documenting. Whatever an auditor does, he first understands the work and then documents it. Right? Understands the word and then it documents. So as an auditor, you'll gradually develop a habit of documenting everything. Right? You keep on making notes while you're a student. So once you qualify and become an auditor, you keep on documenting everything. Okay, what I want to, let's document this. Tuesday ko kya dala tha maine? Kya pehna tha? Thursday kya pehna tha? This gets into your brain, this documentation. Documentation. Karthik, you seem to be one funny guy. We have understood the company's IT environment. Now we have to document our understanding. We have to put it in the form of notes in our audit book or whatever makes us believe that yes, we have understood the environment. As per SA 230 audit documentation. We can use any standard format or a template already available to us. So if we have a summarized document, it helps us in determining the areas to be considered in scope of audit. Right? So if we have a summary available with us of every chapter before any exam, yes, we did study for this particular subject of audit 3 months back, and now in 1.5 days, what I'm going to do, I'm going to read through the summary notes I prepared for myself so that I get to know, yes, I understood this chapter 3 months back while attending the classes. Just listen to me. The answer to most of your questions you were asking today, yes, I understood the concepts of this chapter 3 months ago when I was attending the classes. I documented them in the form of my notes, summary notes, super summary notes. Now at the time of exam, I am going to read through those notes because I have already understood the concept. Now I just need to read and remember those notes and consider what areas are important for my exam. What areas should I consider to cover the scope of my exam? The same is the case with audit. So it could be a standard summary format, or you might have developed a template yourself for your notes in the same way that auditor documents into a standard template or develops a format of his own. What are the risks associated with an IT environment? What could be the risks? One, you already told me hacking. What could be the other risks? Have you all watched that movie? What was that movie? The Chitti character, Rajnikant, Robot, if I'm not wrong. That was it, na? Robot 1 and Robot 2.0. So what was happening in that movie? chitti, that character was programmed, that was configured, that you have to go by the rule book. So some incidents occurred where it was, a machine had to think as per human emotions, but he couldn't because human emotions were not fed into it. It was a machine. So there was this risk associated with him. Once he got into control of the villain in the movie, he started doing bad deeds. This was the risk. He was doing works, inaccurate works, which it was not ought to do. Same happens with the machines in our organizations. Aditi, I understand mere summary notes are not enough, but they are a savior. They are a savior in terms of anxiety and exam stress. If you have got the time, summary notes which you have prepared upon as per your requirement. Okay, so that is what you require. Okay, so risks associated. We have understood the IT system and the automated environment. Now, what are the risks? Inaccurate processing of data, processing inaccurate data, or both. So, what is the difference? Inaccurate processing of data. What is inaccurate processing? I wanted 2 plus 2. I wanted 2 plus 2. It gave me 5. The machine gave me 5. This is called inaccurate processing of data. Why? Because 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. The data is correct, but there is error in processing. The processing is inaccurate. Now I wanted 2 plus 2. I wanted 2 plus 2. But the machine is giving me 2 plus 1 equal to 3. The processing is okay. Here, processing is fine. What is inaccurate? The data. It has picked the wrong data. I wanted 2 plus 2 equal to 4. This would have been my result. I would use it in my process. But instead, it gave me 2 plus 1. The processing is okay. 2 plus 1 is actually 3. The processing is okay, but the data chosen was wrong. Here, the data was okay, but the processing was wrong. It could be either, it could be both. It could have given me 2 plus 1 equal to 5. Now, what happened? This is just an example. I wanted 2 plus 2. It gave me 2 plus 1. It picked 1 mistakenly. The machine picked 1 mistakenly. Inaccurate data. Further, 2 plus 1 should have been 3. It gave me 5. Inaccurate processing. So, it could be either inaccurate processing of the accurate data. It could be processing inaccurate data, or it could be both. I hope this thing is clear. I hope this thing is clear with everyone. Unauthorized access to data. What is unauthorized access? That you are not allowed to access data in that system. For example, you are going through your father's mobile phone, your mother's mobile phone, your siblings' mobile phone. You are not allowed to do it. That is their personal equipment, that they're not their personal asset. So unauthorized access to data. In the same way, in organizations, there is level of hierarchy, different hierarchy, top, bottom, middle, right? So when you can authorize a data which you are not allowed to, that is known as unauthorized access to data. You have not been given the permission, but still you are able to access that data. That means there is a risk. the controls are weak. Direct data changes or back-end changes. What is direct data changes? There is something which you have done on your system, and that particular file is saved on the server. Server is a computer. Server is a big computer you will find in every organization, which is the, I would say, the soul of the system, right? It will have every backup. It will be controlling all the machine. It will have all the applications. So whatever you're doing is being saved over here. If you can change the data directly over here without any authorization, it is known as direct data changes, backend changes. Sometimes you'll feel that you are working, in the banks. Sometimes you visit a bank and you'll say, I have to get this statement, I have to this. So say, sir, system पीछे से ही नहीं चल रहा. पीछे system पे काम कर रहे हैं. They are working on the system. They're trying to revive it. जब सिस्टम चल पड़ेगा, हमारे पास सॉफ्टवेयर में एक्सेस आ जाएगा, फिर हम आपको स्टेटमेंट देंगे. So this is what is called back-end working. So back-end people can access your data, but you cannot access back-end data. If you are able to access back-end data and you can be able to change the data, that is a risk, because that should not be allowed. No, Hiral, it could, inaccurate data could also be machine's fault. Inaccurate data could also be machine's fault. It cannot be human fault always. We have asked it to pick data. We have given it a formula and it is picking wrong data. That means there is some problem with the formula or the machine. What is next? Excessive access or privileged access. They are called as super users. So what I'm doing, I am the boss and I ask my secretary that, oh, I'll be busy in a meeting. So this is the kind of payment, you have to make this payment. My bank account, my personal account, my money, and I have given him the access, which I was not allowed. Or the company's account from which the payment was to be made, I have given him the access which I was not authorized, because the access was meant to be have with me. I was responsible for that access, but I have delegated that access to someone else. Or someone from my family is coming to my office, visiting my office, and they're accessing my computer. Someone is playing games, someone is surfing on the internet. That is called privileged access. That is called super users, which you can give in within the organization to other people around you as well, your colleagues and all. So this should not be there. For example, you are not able to remember your ID and password, to you write it on a paper and stick it on your table or on your drawer. So anybody who's going to access your computer for any work, they can see that ID password and they can log into your system and do anything they want. We have seen this in movies and web series, right? So this could be the risk: excessive access or privileged access. Privileges means they're enjoying that luxury of getting that access. Mom is not at home. You have got access to the kitchen. You're doing your experiments. That is called privileged access. In the presence of your mother, you are not allowed to enter the kitchen and do your experiments with the food. But now you have got privileged access. Lack of adequate segregation of duty. One person is doing so many works. There should be segregation of duties. Like you have read about the maker and checker concept. In the banks, one person makes the document relating to the transaction and the other person checks it. It is not one and the same person. You cannot audit or check your own work. So there should be proper segregation of duties. The work should be delegated different persons. One person is doing, the other is checking it, verifying it. Unauthorized changes to systems or programs. Basically, this is at the IT end. People working on the computer are usually not able to make such changes. But if they have the requisite knowledge with the softwares and all, and they should be stopped by a firewall or any control system in your computer, that yes, you are, even if you try to delete a file from your folder in your C drive on your computer, what message it is display? You are not the administrator, you cannot delete this file. So this is a pop-up that should flash over there to prevent that unauthorized change. Failure to make necessary changes to systems or program. I want to make an amendment to this file. I want to make a correction to this Word file or Excel file. Or I want to make a change to this software. I am allowed for the same, but it is not letting me do. Who has done this? Who has tampered with the working of this software? बोलते किसने छेड़खानी की है? So if you are not able to do what we want to do with the use of that software, and we have the authority, but we are not able to do, that is also a risk. Loss of data, that could be due to physical incidents, accidents as well, or someone deleting the data, or someone hacking it. So these are the risks associated with IT environment. Yeah, it is kind. Hitesh Jain, it is kind of an example. हाँ, घर की चाबी ये बताना नहीं होता है कार्तिक, ये बातें बताई नहीं जाती हैं. I'm not repeating it. Okay, so we have understood the environment. We have taken discussed about the considerations of the auditor, documentation of our understanding, and now the risks. This is what I have. This should be in my knowledge. This everything should be in my knowledge. What are the risks associated? Only if I understand about the risks, I'll be able to consider them in my audit. So if I go on an audit and I see this particular person has written his ID password, when we open his drawer, it has pasted it over here. He has pasted it over there. I'll ask for it. This is a sign of weak controls. You can save it in your mobile elsewhere. You can save it in some file, or you can keep it with you in your wallet. Why have you pasted it over here on your desk or that drawer? Anyone can access your computer using the credentials. So as an auditor, I would mention this fact to the management as well as the person that this is a sign of weak control. You should not be doing it. Okay, so if we are not able to mitigate those risks to a lower level, what impact they could make on our organization or on our reporting? So risks are going to definitely harm the organization. They are not going to be, if they materialize, they are definitely going to prove harmful for the organization. But how do they impact on our audit? Such risks, the risks we have discussed in the previous slide, if not mitigated, I hope you all understand the meaning of this term, mitigated, reducing something to a lower or acceptable level. If you are having breakfast and I'll say, आज मैं 2 के बजाय 4 पूरी खाऊंगा, 5 नहीं खा सकता. अगर 5 खाई तो 5वीं पूरी, diminishing law of marginal utility, it would affect my stomach. But 4 tak, yes, definitely. So that is my strength. Eating 4 chapatis, 4 idlis or 4 puris, that is my strength. That is the risk. Till 4 puris, I am okay, good. But not beyond that. So mitigated is what? To reducing something, to keep something, to define a certain level for that risk. Yes, we have to bring it to that level, the lowest possible level. If it is not done, they may impact the audit as follows. How they may impact the audit? Impact or unearned substantive audit, impact on controls. The controls in the organization, how can they impact the controls? and our reporting. So how do they impact our audit? Substantive audit based upon facts. We cannot rely upon the data obtained from the systems. If there are risks and they have not been mitigated using appropriate controls, I cannot rely upon the data obtained from the system, because it could be the example, I wanted 2 plus 2, but the data is giving me 2 plus 1. So, reliance affected. System data and reports should be tested substantively. Time and again, different tests should be applied upon that for completeness and accuracy. I wanted 2 plus 2 plus 1. It is giving me only 2 plus 1. The formula is giving me only 2 plus 1. It is incomplete. I wanted 2 plus 2 plus 1. It should have been 5. It is giving me 6. It is not accurate. Or it is giving me 2 plus 2 plus 2. It is inaccurate. In that case, where the risks have not been mitigated by the controls, this could be the problems, and I would have to work more as an auditor, and I would need more audit evidence. और ज्यादा मेहनत और ज्यादा काम करना पड़ेगा और ज्यादा सबूत चाहिए. Array here, it could be anything. We are talking about machines. Either it is not always on the machines. You cannot always blame the machines, but you can not always blame the humans as well. So machines could do inaccurate data or inaccurate processing as well. We have to check it out. If it is inaccurate processing, whether the data fed into the system was right or wrong. If the processing is okay, whether the data being picked up by the machine, by the system is right or not. We're talking about machines over here. It is not like this that always the machines are at fault. There could be human errors as well, but we are talking about machines errors over here. What could be their errors? Impact on controls. So we cannot rely upon automated controls. We'll check and go the biometrics. Okay, I'll put my finger over there. It is letting me enter. It is letting me enter. With my finger, my information, my bioinformation not fed into their system, even then it is letting me pass. So, if the risks have not, this is a bigger risk, they have not taken care of the risk and the controls are proving to be weak, there could be error in system calculations as well. 2 plus 1, 5, I told you. And further, they could impact the accounting procedures as well. So as an auditor, I cannot rely on their controls as well. I cannot even rely on IT-dependent manual controls. For example, I asked a person, go and get a report from this accounting software about the list of debtors. So the data has been fed in the system. The computer software will give me a list of debtors more than 6 months old. It is not giving any bifurcation. It has bifurcated not accurately. So I cannot even rely upon those systems where there are manual controls, because those manual controls are using the systems. System data and reports to be tested substantially for, again, more substantial audit work is needed. These 2 points, which you have already done over here, the impact on controls. And how would it impact our reporting? We will have to communicate to those charged with governance. Bhai, your controls are not okay. Your risks have not been mitigated. They are impacting your organization's work as well as my audit. And I'll modify my auditor's report. I'll not give a clean report. I'll modify it accordingly. I'll give my observations. So there would be impact on controls. There would be further impact on my substantive audit, and it will impact my reporting as well if these risks are not mitigated. Okay, clear? So, सर रिस्क बता दिया क्या होते हैं, ये बता दिया अगर रिस्क को कंट्रोल नहीं किया गया, कंट्रोल्स के थ्रू उसको मिटिगेट नहीं किया गया, कम से कम लेवल पे नहीं लाया गया, तो क्या होगा, पर करना कैसे है, हाउ डू वी हैव टू डू इट, सब कुछ बता दिया. नाउ व्हाट डू वी हैव टू डू, व्हाट डज द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन नीड टू डू टू मिटिगेट दोज रिस्क्स टू अ लोअर लेवल, टू एन एक्सेप्टेबल लेवल. So it says to mitigate such risks and maintain the SIAS of data. What is the SIAS? Looks like a Spanish word, SIAS. It's the confidentiality, integrity, availability, and security of data. Confidentiality is the persons who are authorized to know about the data, only they get to know about the data. Integrity, its original form is there. It has not been changed. It is available to the persons for whom this information, those who have the access, it should be available to them and it should be secured. So for this purpose, for the SIAS of the data, we need to implement, the organization needs to implement some controls. You have read about controls in your chapter 4, risk assessment and internal control. Now we are going to read about the controls in an automated environment, the IT controls, information technology controls. What are they? General IT controls. So what are the general IT controls? They are the aloo, they are the potato, right? If no vegetable is available for us, please make aloo. Right? These are the general, like a general item. These are general IT controls. These are the essence of the organization's IT environment because the whole IT is based upon general IT controls. To have a room, to have a kitchen in your home, to have a resting room in your home, you first need a building. You first need land. You first need space. You need basic amenities, water connections, electricity connections, everything. So general IT controls are those basic amenities. They run through the systems everywhere. They are the blood of the IT or environment. So general IT controls are policies and procedures. Policies are the rules framed by the company to be implemented and followed by everyone in their organization. And procedures are the works which are done to implement these policies. So general IT controls are the policies and procedures that relate to many applications. For example, you might have many applications in your mobile phone, right? Some applications might require a different kind of drivers or something else. But for that, you need to have your Android version or the Apple version up to date. It will not work with the previous versions. So that is what the standard version, the updated version, that is general IT control. After that, if your application requires a different type of driver or server, you have to install and download that. So general IT controls provide the platform for the applications to run. So to run many applications and support the functioning of applications control. Unless and until there is a general IT control, your application controls are not going to work. Application controls are related to specific applications, but general IT controls are related to whole IT implemented in your organization. So general IT controls support the application controls. Their existence is necessary for the application controls to come into picture. General IT controls that maintain the integrity of information and security of data. These are those IT controls generally implemented to mitigate the IT specific risks and applied commonly the common father of all types of controls across multiple IT systems, applications, and business processes. So hence, general IT controls are also known as pervasive controls or indirect controls. You have read about direct expenses and indirect expenses. So you have reached the level of prime cost where your product is ready. So what were the indirect expenses? The factory overheads, the supervisor salary, the machinery, the electricity bill, the lightning, everything. These were the indirect expenses. Would the business run without these expenses? No, because these are the overheads. These are the supporting expenses which the business requires. In the same way, the general IT controls are indirect controls which run through the systems in the organization and support the main application controls. That is why these are known as pervasive. What is pervasive? Which is found everywhere. हर जगह मिलता है pervasive, which is found everywhere. कहीं पे भी चोट लगी बॉडी में खून निकलेगा because blood is found everywhere in our body. In the same way, these controls are pervasive. You'll find it everywhere in your system. They are working on every system, every application. So these are the general controls or the indirect controls. For example, your home, you have a main gate. Then you have doors to your rooms, the washroom, the bedroom, the living room. So every application, the washroom, the bedroom, the living room has its door. That is the application control. To enter to your room, to reach to the door of your room, you'll have to enter the main gate first. The main gate is a general IT control. It is facilitating your entry into your home. Further, your room's own door is facilitating your entry into your room. So that becomes application control. What are application controls? Application controls include both automated or manual controls that operate at a business process level. The operations, the processes carried out by the businesses for business motives, that are the application controls. For example, the ERP. That is the controls implemented at the ERP software are the application controls. There could be some manual controls as well, that who is allowed to open this particular application. For example, you have a particular software within your organization and only some specific people are allowed to open that particular application with a password. Like in banks, the branch manager has a specific kind of ID and password. Only with his biometrics or with his password, you can access that particular application. So either manual controls or automated controls applied on different applications. Automated application controls are embedded into IT applications. They are already embedded, means they are a part of those controls from the very basic step. They are already embedded in that system and that software. For example, ERPs and help in ensuring the completeness, accuracy, and integrity of data in those systems. I purchase a software from the market, off the shelf. I purchase an off the shelf standard software from the market, and the vendor tells me, oh, you're purchasing this software really good. This antivirus is already embedded in that software. Once you download and install this software through this particular software CD or on from our website, antivirus will be automatically installed in your system. Or the controls related to the security of this particular application will already be automatically get installed in your system. That is called already embedded into IT applications. Examples of automated applications include edit checks and validation of input data. You know, when we were kids and we used to write essays in Microsoft Word, it would give us some green lines and some red lines. There were some spelling errors or there were some grammatical errors. It would tell us. That is what edit checks and validation of input data. when you will be starting your articleship training and you will be filing returns. So while preparing a return, at the end, there will be an option of validate. What does that validate mean? After you have prepared your whole return, you'll click on this option and it will pop out on your screen the different errors it found. The different errors it found in your information, in your data. Unless and until it is validated. So what is that? That validation control is there in the application itself. The software, or for example, if it is an income tax return, in the income tax return software. So it would say validate your data, only then you'll be able to file your income tax return. So validation of input data. It will not allow you to put a data over there, which is not. Edit checks means if you are editing something which is already logged, it will not allow you. The field is logged, you cannot change it. Sequence number checks, user limit checks, reasonable check, mandatory data fields. These are some simple software terms which are, these controls are already embedded into the application. Very important, general IT controls are needed to support the functioning of application controls, and both are needed to ensure complete and accurate information processing through IT systems. So you need to enter the main gate to reach your room. Same way, you need general IT controls so that your application controls are working efficiently and effectively. And the third type of controls, IT dependent controls. So what are IT dependent controls? IT dependent controls are the controls dependent upon the IT itself. IT dependent controls are basically manual controls, but obvious because they are themselves dependent on IT, that make use of some form of data or information or report produced from IT systems and applications. For example, I asked the machine to give me a report of 2 plus 2, the system to give me a report of 2 plus 2. Now that 2 plus 2 result, I have to use it in some process. So if it is giving me 2 plus 2 equal to 4, that is, I have to rely upon that information. But if it is giving me 2 plus 2 is equal to 5, I have to use manual controls. I have to give a check. So manual controls that make use of some form of data or information or report produced from the IT systems. I have to give it a command that will give me a report and I have to keep a check on it. If I give it a command, give me the trial balance, and it is giving me balance sheet from the system, there is some problem with the input controls within the software, which requires manual control. So it says, even though the control is performed manually, the design and effectiveness of such controls depends on the reliability of the source data. What was the source data from where these controls are being implemented? Due to the inherent dependency on IT, the effectiveness and reliability of automated application controls and IT dependent controls require the general IT controls to be effective. This is the most important. If you want your application controls and IT dependent controls to be highly effective, these need to be highly effective. These are required to run the application controls as well as the IT dependent. So these are the three types of controls: general IT controls, application IT controls, and IT dependent controls in an automated environment. The most important being the general IT control. Okay. Any doubt till now? General application IT dependent controls. Keep the example of the home which I gave you, the home example, the main gate and the further individual rooms. IT dependent control in the example of my home could be that you have told everyone or your friend is coming, please enter into my home and take the first left, you'll enter into my room, you'll reach my room. But if you tell him, okay, enter into my home, and you're telling him as per your perception, okay, take the right. For him, it should have been left. But if you tell him right, take the right room, he could land into the kitchen. So that is IT dependent controls, which are basically the manual controls. I hope this example will help you to keep the importance of these controls in mind. Any doubt till now, or should I proceed further? I hope, Hiral, with my example, IT dependent control is clear. Okay. Types of IT controls. The general IT controls. This is a bit heavy topic. We'll take it up in the next session. The types of general IT controls, we'll take it up in the next session. This is the 4 points. They are a bit heavy. We'll further move to the testing methods. Let us complete with the testing methods. So how do you test the controls? How do you test the controls? The general IT controls, the application controls, how do you test them? And I am very much sure you must have done this topic in your chapter 4. What was that? Inquiry, observation, inspection, reperformance. Let us apply that over here in automated environment. Inquiry. Inquiry is the process of gathering information, collect information directly from an individual who is familiar with the subject matter or control being tested. It could be in the form of an email or interview. For example, I'm going to ask the security officer who is maintaining the known financial data in his system. There are CCTV recordings. So how long do you maintain the recordings? For how many days the recording is preserved with you? Do you have any backup? Do you preserve the recording in pen drives or hard disks? So directly to the individual who is familiar with the subject, I can get a knowledge of the controls and their strength. If the security guards answers each question confidently, yes sir, 10 दिन का डाटा मेंटेन करता है, कौन सा चाहिए डाटा आपको बोलो, अभी निकाल के देता है, 30 दिन का चाहिए, मंगलवार, शुक्रवार, ट्यूसडे, थर्सडे, रात 12 बजे का, सुबह 6 बजे का, कौन फैक्ट्री में आया था, क्या काम हुआ था, व्हाट वाज बीइंग डन, इंक्वायरी. तो मैं इधर I'll take his interview or I'll ask him, okay, these are my questions, email me the response to every question. So this is what is inquiry. I could get a knowledge of the strength of the controls in the organization from there only. That is inquiry. Okay, Hiral, I'll take it again. Observation. Observation is the process or procedure of observing processes take place or witnessing physical items in place and operating as described. These might also be considered walkthroughs. What is it? I've entered the organization and I am just on a tour of the organization. I'm going on every floor and I'm just observing how people are doing work, what people are doing. I've not told them I'm the auditor. I've told them I'm from this team or particular team. That is, or it could be a surprise visit. The auditor could make a surprise visit during the audit being conducted, 3 days, 4 days. It could be a surprise visit. Let me visit the second floor today. What is being done? So I observe anybody can access anybody's computer. Is there a defined level of hierarchy? A person from the bottom level of management is able to access the computer of top level of management or middle level of management. I'm just observing this. I'm not talking to anyone. I'm not conducting inquiries. I'm just observing. How are the prints being taken? There is this Mrs. XYZ, Mrs. Y on the second floor. Her son has a presentation tomorrow in school and she's making project on the organization's computer and getting printouts from the office's printer. I've observed this. I've not asked her anything. I've just observed it. Right? So this is what I'm taking a walk through the organization. I'm just observing what could be the lapses in the controls. Reperformance. Reperformance is independently recreating a process to verify that it is operating effectively. It may also include recreating a process in tandem with an observation to observe an otherwise automated process. So what would I say? I'll ask a person, okay, fine. Let us take the example of that security guard. Okay, in front of me, just record this CCTV audio and just download it. Are you able to download it? Is the video getting saved? He's not able to save the video. He's not able to save the video. Then how is he saying that, yes, he have all the videos saved, he saves it every day. He keeps a record. Okay, please run the video in front of me and show me how do you save it. And after saving, are you able to extract the video again? Is it being saved in the correct format? So that if we require it, if anything happens, we require the CCTV footage, are we able to extract it? Or I could ask him, I'm going to recreating a process in tandem means not required, but we are just going to check it. I'll ask him, I'm going to the vault room. I'm going to the vault room and let us see, just record whether I'm able to enter the room or not. The vault room has an automatic biometric system. I'll punch in my code. Whosoever has the code to this vault room, they'll punch in their code and they'll be able to enter the vault room. I punch in my membership number and the vault room opens. What was that? How is this automated? Where are the controls? That is called reperformance. Inspection. Inspection is in-depth examination of documentation that could serve as an evidence whether the control is in place or not. When was the last time a technical review of the IT systems was made, got carried out, that your vendor would visit the company, the organization, and it would get a technical audit done whether all the systems are working effectively or not, whether there are any hacks or antiviruses are working properly, firewalls are working properly or not. It is a documentary evidence. You might be having that invoice from that particular vendor. It involves gathering populations and creating samples for testing. Let me sit on this computer and let me see whether whatever the work I am doing or whatever the work the particular employee was doing, are they effective? Are they working as per the policy or not? Inspection can be clubbed with observation as well. Inspecting fire suppression inspection records while observing that the fire suppression system is in place. So I have observed that there are fire extinguishers installed in the organization. That is my observation. But that was not enough, because I need to know what is the life of a fire extinguisher, and have they been replenished or replaced with the new ones? Because if the life of a fire extinguisher is just 1 year and they have been there since the past 3 years, they have neither been replenished nor been replaced with the new ones. In the case of fire, would they work? They'll not work. They're a dead asset. So how would I be able to get to know about that? Inspecting the records of the assets file, the inspecting the files, the invoice files, the security files. When was the last time the fire extinguishers were replenished or replaced with the new ones? So this is how observation was not enough over here. I observed that fire extinguishers are there in place, but I had to inspect the documents as well, that they are working properly. So these are the control audit tests to test the control in an automated environment. Inquiry, observation, reperformance, inspection. Okay, I hope it is clear. The last part for today, some considerations about these testing methods. So, inquiry is the most efficient audit test, but it gives the least audit evidence. What if the other person is speaking a lie, झूठ बोल रहा है, जिससे आप inquiry कर रहे हो? It is the most efficient because you can ask n number of questions. You might trap him or her anywhere within your questions, but it gives the least audit evidence. So if it gives it might be the most efficient. Efficient is on our part. It is easy for us, but it should always be used in combination with any other audit testing method. Inquiry alone is never sufficient. Inquiry alone is never ever sufficient. See, efficiency bar, inquiry with the highest bar and re-performance with the lowest bar. Now, real performance is the most effective. We understood the difference between efficiency and effective. Efficiency is doing the work, and effective is getting the right results after doing the work. So, re-performance gives us the best results. Results are the audit evidence. But re-performance is time consuming. So, it is the least efficient. You are doing a work again and again. So it has been, in terms of effectiveness bar, efficiency bar, it has been put on low. But in terms of effectiveness, giving results, it has been put on high. Generally, applying inquiry in combination with inspection gives the most effective and efficient audit evidence. You may use re-performance, you may observe things, but clubbing inquiry and inspection as an audit test to test controls would give you the best results. However, which audit test to use, when and in what combination is again a matter of professional judgment, and that judgment has to be taken on the basis of study of several factors. Your risk assessment, how strong is the control environment, what is the level of evidence you require, how much evidence do you require, the history of errors and misstatements in the organization. You can check the historical facts, the complexity of business, and assertions. Assertions, I suppose you all know what are assertions. What topics related to the financial statements or the environment are you going to address? Again, documentation, whatever test the auditor uses, documentation is an important part. He should maintain the documentation. Right? So this was our topic of the day. We are left with one topic, the general IT controls. In the next session, we'll take up that topic and the start and your doubts as well. I hope if you have any doubts till now, you can take it up again. Hiral, I'll definitely take it up IT dependent controls when we revise this today's lecture in the next session. I'll take up IT dependent controls again. Any other doubt apart from this? You can please put in the query box. Okay, fine. If there are still any doubts, you can always ask me in the next session. Take care for tonight. Till the next session. Let's meet on Saturday and finish this chapter. Okay, take care. Good night, everyone.